Hi, welcome to Bootstrap 5 framework, the first video on how to set up the programming environment. This is a list of suggestions how you should use this video. The notes for this video can be found here at this URL. The link is case sensitive. So if you open your web browser, let me close other things. If you open your web browser and you go there, this is the website you're going to look at. Okay, so what we are going to do today is we are going to set up a Bootstrap framework environment so you can look at other Bootstrap examples and try it out, all the things. And then we are going to download the Bootstrap 5 framework. Okay, so realize this website is Bootstrap 5, which is the latest version when I make this video. So the first thing we want to do is we want to create a folder in your C drive. So let's open your File Explorer. And go to C drive, temp folder. So you should have a temp folder created. If not, create a temp folder. In this folder, we are going to create a new folder called Bootstrap 5 examples. Okay, Bootstrap 5 examples. And all the things we are going to do are going to be put here. Okay, before we even move on, we are going to create a new folder called EG001. Okay, so ctemp Bootstrap 5 examples, EG001 will be our website. Okay, so very simple website, going to have a Bootstrap download, and then we are going to create a first page. So how do you download Bootstrap framework? So Bootstrap framework technically is just a collection of CSS files, allow you to make your website responsive without coding your own CSS classes. So go to bootstrap.com, or you can key in getbootstrap.com. Download the latest version. Hopefully it's a 5. All right, if it's 6, it still works to a certain degree, but you need to change things. All right, if it's 4, my examples won't work very well. Okay, so it has to be a 5, version 5. So download this. Click on download the compile CSS and JS version. Download here. Open this, and you have to. Okay, let me try that again. I don't want to show you what I have in my download folder. So click on download here. Click on you can see in folder, or you can open it. Let's say we want to see in folder. So this is the file that we downloaded. Double click on the zip. So if you double click on the zip, you will see actually the folder here. Drag the whole folder into a EG001. So let's look at what we have downloaded. You downloaded a folder called Bootstrap version 5.1.3. So this is version 5. If you go in, you have 2 folders. One is a CSS folder. The main file you need is this one, I think. If you open up in Notepad++, right-click Notepad++, you realize this is a huge CSS file with all the classes, and everything is in one line, just so that you don't mess it up. They don't encourage you to update it, obviously. You can still read it, but it's very difficult to update. And then in the JS, you are going to, the file you need, I think, is this one, or this one. I think it's this one. It's just a JavaScript file with lots of classes. Again, they don't encourage you to edit it because they make it one line. Okay. So before you even move on, I want my example to be workable for all the versions like 5.1.4, 5.1.5. So let's rename this folder to bootstrap _dist. So I'm just going to copy this, right click copy, come over here and say I want to rename, right click rename, Control V to paste. So I rename my folder in EG001 to bootstrap _dist. Okay. You know the version because you can always check the version when you go in and look at any of the files here. It will tell you the version is 5.1.3. So I don't need the version information in my folder here. I don't need the version information, but I want my example to work all the time. So, I can do that. All right. You can download example file from there. That will work, but the example here use a link to the internet, which is okay, but I don't really like it because I want my file to be always workable with my local version. So let's go and download EG001. So right click your EG001.html, say save link as, save this into my C drive, temp, Bootstrap 5 examples, EG001. Okay, save here. So now your EG001 will appear in your ctemp Bootstrap 5 examples EG001. Let's look at what we have in this file. If you right click this file and open with Notepad++, you'll realize this is a pretty simple file with 35 lines, which I created it, obviously. And I download the links from, Bootstrap framework and make some changes. So this is a very simple file, HTML5, head, body, and so on and so forth. Okay? And these 4 lines, 1, 2, 3, and 4, are needed for Bootstrap. The rest, I just added them in. You can make changes and all that. Okay? These 4 lines are essential for Bootstrap. So what it does is say that these 2 lines say that this is a viewport and initial scale is 1. You must have these 2 lines for Bootstrap. And these 2 lines actually link to the files that I just talked about. So this one linked to, as you can see, is a relative link to Bootstrap distribution, CSS, bootstrap.min.css. So we link to that, we load all the CSS classes. And this file linked to relative link, one level down, Bootstrap distribution, JS, bootstrap bundle.min.js, this file here. Oh, I looked at the wrong file just now, did I? But anyway, so you link to this file, bootstrap.bundle.js. Okay, this file is the one we are going to look at. Alright, so because you do this, they are going to load all the Bootstrap classes and load all the JavaScript classes. So let's see what we have here. If you open this in Firefox, if you say right click open in Firefox, as you can see, this is not a normal file, this is responsive. It has the basic Bootstrap framework because here you say that I wrap it around a container, which is the default thing you must do. And then it has a H1 and it has a P. Okay. A very common mistake people make is they did not name this properly and they do the link wrong. And then the whole thing will break. Let's say I do this link wrong. I have added 01. Obviously, there's no such thing as Bootstrap distribution _1, When you reload this, it will break. So this is not Bootstrap, obviously. This is not responsive. okay, and it's the ugly Times New Roman default font, so you know you mess up because you rename your folder wrong. So let's get back that. Now this is Bootstrap. Another thing you do it wrong is you come over here, you rename this, you cannot type properly, you uppercase, lowercase, you mess up, and you forgot you have a space somewhere, or let's create a space here just to mess things up. You create a space when you type, and then this thing will break. So your hand is shaking when you type, you make a space. So don't make a space, no good. So you create the wrong link. When you create a wrong link, this is not responsive, it becomes Times New Roman, so you know you mess up. So make sure that the folder name must be correct. Then this is Bootstrap. Okay, so now you can go to Bootstrap there, you can download examples to try. You can, a few places you can get examples. One place is W3 Schools Bootstrap 5 tutorial. There are a lot of examples here. You can copy down and try before you use it for your website. And I like the getbootstrap.com tutorials. Some of the tutorials here are really good. Like how do you do layout, how do you do content and all that. So you can try that. So once you set up an environment, you can try the tutorials. Okay. All right. So that is how to set up the environment. You can start putting tutorials below here. Before I close the video, I want to briefly mention about a grid system. All right, you have to wrap things in a container or container fluid. For each row, you have to wrap it in a row. All right, and I want to talk a little bit about a grid system. Okay, so Bootstrap has a grid system. They divide the screen into 12 columns, and they use this naming convention depending on the screen size. So for example, if you are designing for a screen of more than 1400 resolutions, it's called XXL, and they will use a class name called column XXL something, and that number will determine how many columns you see. If it's in between 992 and 1200, it's called LG, and it's called column LG, and the number behind is how many columns we'll see. Let me show you an example real quick. In example 2, so these are all column 1. If you look at the code, if you look at the code, so these are column SM1. It means that when the resolution get below 576, it will change to one column. So right now, when you have 12 ones, add together is 12. So if you drop below 576, they will become one column. So this is a typical responsive layout, can be easily done using this naming convention, div class. Okay. If you want 3 columns, all you need to do is, first one is 4, second one is 4, third one is 4. 4, 4, 4 add together is 12. So 3 columns, you code them this way. When they fall below 576, they will become one column. So if you fall below 576, look at this row, it will become here. So this row will become one column when it becomes less than 576. Okay. All right. How about, what other examples do I have? How about large? So large means that, where's my large? Large means that if it's less than 992, you will change. Okay. So example here, I do a large here. All right, I do a large here, 4, 4, 4. So it's 3 columns. So large 444 is 3 columns. If you drop below 992, it become 1 column. So let's look at large. Okay, let's look at this part. (992), it become 1 column, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's how the naming convention work. Just want to mention that. And you can even mix them, like 8 and 4 will give you 2 columns, but it's distributed 4 column and 8 columns. So just imagine that Bootstrap framework have 12 invisible columns, working for responsive layout and changes. Okay. All right, I think that's a good place to look at the video, to stop the video, and I encourage you to play with more Bootstrap examples. Okay, I have some Bootstrap examples here. And there are some good Bootstrap examples. There's some good Bootstrap examples here, and some Bootstrap examples here. Okay. All right, that's a good place to stop. So in this video, we set up the Bootstrap framework environment, and we set it up here, and we make the Bootstrap framework local for you, so you can carry them around, put it on your website. Okay. Thanks for watching. Bye.